Hi, I'm Art Kaplan. I'm at the NYU Grossman School of Medicine in New York City, where I run the Division of Medical Ethics. Interesting opinion piece appeared in the New York Times. A doctor asked, how would you feel if your doctor was 100 years old? And that may seem a little extreme, but I think the point was we're getting more and more uh, aging going on in the doctor workforce. I don't know how many people are practicing to 100. I suspect it's not many, but there are more and more older physicians. Retirement age is not mandatory for a doctor at 65. By the way, it is for an airline pilot. They can't fly commercial after that age. And many other professions have mandatory retirement, partly linked up to the idea that there may be cognitive decline or health decline, partly linked up to the idea that they want, if you will, new people to come in and be able to rejuvenate businesses or organizations. Now, this issue about what to do with an aging workforce of doctors is serious because the workforce is aging and there's a shortage of doctors. It may seem a little crazy to start to talk about, should we force retirement for physicians when we don't have enough physicians, and every manpower prediction shows that there are going to be fewer and fewer physicians to meet demand in the years ahead. Don't we want to keep those people active? Don't we want to keep as large a workforce as we can? Well, sure, but it's obvious that we want a competent workforce. Now, good news is science is beginning to understand that there are people amongst us who are so-called super agers. They do very well. Memory is maintained. They stay relatively healthy. They are able to function at a very high level into their 70s and 80s. And indeed, studies are going on now to try and figure out why some of us do well in old age. Most of the studies are focused on why some of us don't do so well, say Alzheimer's or Lewy body syndrome, but there is a subset of people that does very well. So obviously there are some docs who can practice, do what they need to do in their specialty well into their 70s and 80s. I don't know about 100, but certainly getting on in age and still being able to do a good job. So I think the time has come for something that makes people nervous, but I don't think has to be extraordinarily burdensome, and that's checking for competency. Now, before everybody's gets angry about that idea, because obviously there are docs out there who are young and their competency isn't very good for a variety of reasons, impairment, and they don't keep up with the literature. But the fact is, we know that aging can impair. And the fact is, we know that aging impairs a subset of people at a stronger clip. So there must be a simple way to just recheck basic competency, to have a memory test, to have some sort of dexterity test, to have some sort of simple, 20, 30-minute annual or every other year examination, just to make sure that once you get over 65, your skills have not slipped in a way that would harm patients or cause the risk of malpractice to increase. I know nobody likes to get tested. I don't like to get tested. Professors are another group that can stay on, and I would advocate the same for them, that they have to pass a mandatory recertification in order to be a professor past 65. I think we all understand that the testing doesn't have to be, do you understand the latest literature? Because experience and wisdom count for a lot in medicine, and you can refer to others when you're really looking for someone who has the latest, most up-to-date knowledge in a subfield. We probably do that anyway, but just basic mental capacity and skill. Look, I've called for this in this forum before for presidential candidates, vice presidential candidates. I think we ought to be testing them when there are elections routinely, independent assessment for basic skills. And while I'm not calling for any type of mandatory retirement age for healthcare workers or doctors, I do think the same sort of basic testing makes sense. There are those super agers out there who are going to do great. There's a subset of folks who are going to start to slip. And while there are protections, certainly peers keep an eye on one another and make sure that their practice is what it should be. I don't think it would hurt to have a basic, simple recertification test so that we don't damage the workforce when we need it the most, but we don't allow people to slip through who probably shouldn't be practicing any longer. I'm Art Kaplan at the Division of Medical Ethics at the NYU Grossman School of Medicine. Thank you very much for watching.